Hello friends, today's video I'm going to be reviewing an eBay store, and even if this is not your store, there are going to be so many tips and tricks and strategies that come out of it, so definitely stay tuned. I recently had to cancel my eBay store review live, so I am picking from that Google sheet. However, I randomly select stores here and there, so if you want your eBay store reviewed, leave it down in the comments, or if you definitely want it reviewed and not to have a chance, I do paid store reviews as well on my website, linked down below. Let's get right into it because this is going to be a pretty hefty video, lots of information coming out of it. The first thing that I am going to do is look at their goals and see if they're even on track for their goals, and then we will go ahead and review their store. So what we're looking at here, we're not looking at, you guys aren't looking at anything. I didn't hit the button. There you are. What we're looking at here is a golden formula for resellers. If you're not new to the channel, you have seen this probably a gazillion times by now. If you are new to the channel, this is just a way to put math to how much money that you want to make. And the reason that you can do this is because then you can move and manipulate the numbers in different ways to figure out how many listings you need, to figure out what average sale price you need, to figure out what gross revenue that you want to make. You can come up and do the math behind it to give you a strategy and goals to get to where you want to go. So I'm going to go ahead and talk through a little bit of what the math looks like for this store that I'm about to review, and then we'll talk about what they need to do based off of their current store to get to the goal that they want to meet. So they are doing, and this is, so if you do purchase a Google store review, if you do purchase an eBay, not a Google, an eBay store review, this all comes in your store review, as well as you get this sheet for free, well, not for free, but you get this sheet included with it and all the videos that I recommend and details into your store. This sheet is for sale as well, down below. If you are a YouTube member, this is one of the perks, along with many other things that come with it. So you guys can do the math with this as well if you wanted to look at your numbers. So what we're looking at is their sell-through rate, their average sale price, and their gross revenue, right? So you have the formula up here. Your sell-through rate is how many items you sell out of how many that you have for sale. Their current sell-through rate is 15.8%. On average, they're selling items for $12, and they want to make $2,000. So these numbers are all editable, editable. That's a weird word to say. And then if we just go ahead and scroll down, it says they need 1,052 active listings. And this is why you put math to it, friends. This is absolutely why I geek out over the math, because once you know these numbers, you have obtainable goals and things to figure out how to make the money that you want to make. And we're going to look at the eBay store review to help them meet what they want to make. I'm going to go one step further and tell them how many listings they need to do every single day to hit this goal. And as I say that, I'm realizing that I did not update this spreadsheet. So I'm going to update it with you guys really quick. So they need to get to 1,000 listings to hit their goal. They're currently at 85. So y'all can do the math probably pretty quickly and realize that, yes, they need to get almost 1,000 more listings. Now, before we get into that, that is one way for them to make the money that they want to make. However, everyone's situation is different. And I know a little bit of information about this situation because I filled out the Google form, but every person is different and they work part-time. They're selling things out of their closet, and they're currently listing 3 items a day. So let's keep all of that in mind. If they wanted to hit their goal and make that $2,000 based off of what they're currently doing, I'm not going to go through this. I have videos that go through this as well, but they need to be listing to hit that goal in 6 months. They need to be doubling their listing goal, right? Which, working part-time, it's not so, right? You look at resellers, list more, list more, list more, list more. Yes, they can double their listings. What isn't talked about though is the time that it takes to source double the amount of items and they're currently not sourcing at all because they're selling items from their own house, right? So this is now adding sourcing into it. It is now adding more listing, more photographs, more shipping. So I'm going to show you something that they could do, and this is probably, in this situation, this is what I would recommend doing. And sell-through rate of 15% is pretty legit, especially because I've already looked at their store a little bit and I know what they sell. 15% is pretty legit. But let's take a look at this. Actually, I'm going to leave this here. Let's take a look at this, friends. If they go ahead and double their average sale price, $24. So they're finding better items to sell. They now need to list 3 items a day In 6 months, they will hit their goal. They're already listing 3 items a day. They just need to be increasing their average sale price, right? That's one strategy. They can also go back to say, hey, I don't have the knowledge to be able to find that. They can increase their sell-through rate. Let's increase this to 30% just for the sake of math. If they double their sell-through rate, they now are going to be on track in 6 months to hit their goals. I'm going to say a 30% sell-through rate for what they're selling is going to be pretty hefty. But at a $12 average sale price, it may be. That is where the math comes into play, and it's not just about listing more items. It's about understanding these numbers, understanding your numbers and your strategies to be able to hit your goals. So this is an eBay store review. We are getting there, but I want to look at the numbers because each store is different, and we want to be able to talk about what they can do in their store to be able to hit their goals in the time with the knowledge that they have. All right, this is their store. That's not their store. This is their store. So I'm going to go through and give them some tips and tricks. What I'm going to say before we get into the store is being able to increase their average sale price. Even if they just do it slightly, right? I'm going to come back to this real quick, friends. I do geek out over the math because then it gives you a clear guide. Even if they increase it to, let's say $16, right? $4 increase. That's still pretty hard. They're now having to do 4 daily listings. That's only one more than they're doing right now if they can figure out how to buy better items. I'm gonna get into figuring out how to buy better items in a minute. I want to look at their store, and then I'll give some suggestions on how to use those numbers to increase, right? So this is their store. I know that they have a store because they have a banner. They have 100% positive feedback. They also have 150 items, 8 followers. 8 followers. This is one way that you can increase your average sale price. You can also increase your sell-through rate doing this. Your followers. I gave a presentation at eBay Open. You guys can check it out on my channel. But one of the things that I said in there is research that shows, and eBay knows this, which is why they're giving us these tools. There's research that shows if you can get customers to come back to you, if you can get repeat customers, loyal customers, you can increase your profits. People are more willing to spend more money and buy more from people that they have already purchased from. One way to do this is to increase your followers, because eBay now has newsletters. And if you have followers, you are sending these out. It takes you 2 minutes, right? So someone who's working part-time, they can send out a newsletter and say, hey, look at all these cool new items that I have. And automatically they're getting people that are like, hey, I already bought from this person. I want to spend more money. I'm willing to spend more money, and I will go ahead and buy it. Increases your sell-through rate, and it can increase your average sale price. So working on ways to increase your followers. One thing that I've done, and I have it on it's in the eBay Open video as well, but it was a reel for my Instagram. I create a QR code that has my link to my eBay store with a coupon to encourage them to come, but it allows them to, they bought the item, they were happy, they were excited, it's on the package right away. They can take a picture and like me for further. Work on ways to increase your followers. Those are easy ways, especially when you're working part-time. You don't have more time to go sourcing and list more items. Working on ways that you can do something quick from your computer. And another thing I'm going to say about this as well is, so we're looking at their shop. I'm going to go to their about. Their about doesn't have anything. This is another way to increase your repeat buyers, or just to have brand loyalty, or even first-time customers. Customers are more willing. There's research that is showing this is getting more and more important to customers to buy from people that they feel connected to buy from small businesses and support small businesses, to buy from something that they feel like they are supporting. So if you can put as much information, obviously do it that's, valid. Don't make up a story just to get people to buy it. But if you can put something in here that says, hey, I'm doing this to support, like for me, I do it to stay home with my 3 kids. They're all neurodiverse. It allows the flexibility in my schedules to be able to stay home with my children. I love sustainability, blah, 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 blah. A way to connect you and make you a different seller than all the other millions of sellers. It's not only going to help increase your repeat buyers, it's going to allow people to have one more connection. If they're trying to decide between 2 stores, if they see you and see you as a person, it can add connection, as well as adding a store video is one of the options. And then you can add store policies down here. Go through, if you have a store, there's a store feature, and I will link a video down below on the step-by-steps on how to set this up, as well as a newsletter. But you can go ahead, I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. You can go through and create your policies and create all of those things to let people know who you are and how it sets you apart. They have categories set up. Just remember, if you have categories set up, it's nice from a storefront when buyers are on your store and they want to purchase and you have different categories, it is nice to have them set up. However, when you're listing an item, you need to be listing it the eBay item. Do not enter in a different item, from the drop down when you're doing your item specifics. Do not enter in something that is not an eBay drop down. Do not fill it out if you can't find what you need unless you have to. There's a couple that you absolutely have to. But the problem with having store categories and using them on your listing is when you come over here and people are searching. The purpose of your store categories is this left filter. So if you are filling out and you're like, well, it's not really a pullover, it's not really a full zip, it's not really a tunic, I'm going to type in hoodie. When someone clicks on these, hoodie's not an option. eBay doesn't give that option. It's not a filter option. So when someone clicks on it, your item is not going to come up because it is not an item that eBay gives you. Those drop downs is what shows here. That is another reason that you need to be filling out the item specifics for things that are relevant, right? If you're like, oh, I want to show up in as many places on eBay as possible, which you do, but you want to show up in front of buyers who actually want to buy your item. So if you go in and you're clicking on a bunch of things and you're like, I want to show up in all of these different places. Like sometimes they show character and there's no character on your item. And so, but you're like, oh, I want to show up in all these different places. And so you click on Mickey Mouse and someone is looking you up and they click on Mickey Mouse as a filter and your item comes up and it doesn't have Mickey Mouse on it. eBay's going to look at that as bad data and they're going to say, hey, we keep showing this to people and no one's buying in, no one's clicking on it, no one's going to their page views, no one's doing anything with this item. I'm going to stop promoting it. I'm going to stop showing it. And that's when you get yourself into trouble. You're suppressing your own items by filling out item specifics that are not relevant to the actual item. I am so excited that eBay on the computer got rid of that little circle. It is still on the app, but that circle, you don't have to fill out everything, only what's relevant to your items. Okay, let's keep going. Auctions ending soon. So a couple things I would say here. Auctions. Your items are going to sell for less if you're doing auctions. eBay has put out the data. I don't know the exact number now. I think it's like 60 to 80%, somewhere in that range. Don't quote me on that. Because I don't remember the exact number, but I do know for sure that your numbers will sell for less if you put them up for auction. Now, if you're just trying to get rid of stuff and you're trying to increase your sell-through rate, fine. If it gets it out the door and it moves it quickly, but she's trying to increase her average sale price, right? These Nike Air Max shoes, they might go for more if you wait and sit for the right buyer. So buy it now is recommended unless you have something that people are going to be quote unquote fighting for. Unless you can get a bidding war going, which most items, especially in the realm of what this person is selling, is not going to be that. So that's the first thing with the auctions ending soon. The second thing is you want to have a white background. The white background is best recommendations, best practice from Google search and from eBay. Whether you agree with how it looks or not, that's on you, but they are telling you it's best practice, and here's why. So they have their AI, their algorithm is pulling items, and someone is searching for Nike Air Max shoes, and the AI is in the background, and they're like, okay, someone searched for this, and they have these keywords, and they're going through all of these photos to figure out if what the person is searching for is what they want to put in front of the customer. And if you have a white background, it is significantly easier for the algorithms to pick up your item and put it in front of potential buyers. Now, it doesn't mean that sometimes your item won't come up, but they are saying it's best practice because you have the best chance of coming up if you have a white background. The other thing I'm going to say is if you do items on a floor or on a carpet, buyers associate that with being dirty, right? It's what and I'm not saying, I'm not looking at this item and saying it's dirty. I'm sure it's fine. But when customers look at an item and they see it on a floor, somewhere that you walk, somewhere that your dog walks, somewhere that your kids throw things on the floor, they associate that item with being dirty, whether it is or not. So if you don't have the whole setup, not a problem. eBay has a background remover, and I would at least do it for the first photo for the algorithm purposes. That is the photo that is coming up when they're looking at it. And if not, go through and do them all if the item is kind of not looking up to par. And then if we go ahead and scroll down to all of the items, you know, this one definitely I would do a white background on that, because that one's kind of really hard to see what it actually is. You definitely want to make it a square. So if you do the white background remover on eBay, you can also change the dimensions and make it a square. You want it to pop as good as possible. The reason for this is you have your competition, right? So look at how your competition is doing things and you want to be better than they are, right? And so especially in this realm, we're looking at a lot of clothing. It's heavily saturated. Shoes, all of these things are very heavily saturated. So you want to see what your competition is doing and then do it better. And the white background, best practice, squares, you want to make your item pop when it comes up. One thing I'm noticing here is there's no added, this is going to help with sell-through. It's going to decrease average sale price a little bit, but it will help with sell-through, is adding some of these store features like actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think they said that they did not have a store. And I'm going to put a video down below as well about why you should have a store. It's not just about how many listings that you have. There are so many other features, like a lot of the things that I'm talking about, you have access to when you have a store. If you are a hobbyist and you're just trying to clean out your closet, then a store is not necessary. If you want to actually make money doing this, you want access to tools and analytics that are going to make your life easier and are going to allow you to increase your sales. So having a store allows you to do a lot of these. Like I said, I will link it down below. But they don't have a sale, they don't have a coupon, they don't have anything that's going to encourage me to buy these. So some of having a sale and a coupon is pricing strategy, figuring out your pricing strategy. But again, a lot of it is the way it's buyer behavior, the way that buyers are buying, and they're coming in here and they're typing in what they want to see. They're clicking, I only want to buy items that accept offers. So have best offers on. Having best offers on, yes, is because people want a good deal, but it's also because the way that people are buying, they are clicking on accept offers. If you do not accept an offer, you now are filtered out of this search when people are looking for it. Whether you actually accept the offer that they send or not, that's your pricing strategy and that's up to you. But if you don't even allow offers to be sent, then you are filtering yourself out of a lot of these, as well as, you know, you have your shipping and you have free shipping, you have the pickups, you have best match, and then all of the filters over here on the left. And one of the filters over here on the left is a sale, or you can see accepts offers. You want to come up in as many searches as possible. It starts at the top. It starts with your impressions. If people do not see you, they cannot buy your item. So you need to come up in as many search places as possible. And this is part of what running a coupon, having free shipping, having free returns, having all of these little things that people are like, oh, it's in the algorithm. Part of it's the algorithm, but it's not so much the algorithm, it's the way it's buyer behavior, which is why it's in the algorithm. Right? And I will link a video down below about that, the eBay algorithm. Once you understand that, it's not about checking boxes in an algorithm, it's about coming up in searches for buyer behavior. The algorithm is written for buyer behavior. So if you can understand buyer behavior and come up in as many places as possible, you're hitting the algorithm, if that makes sense. I'll link a video down below that goes full in depth into this. So I would definitely work on having as many of those check boxes as possible. I'm going to click on an item. So having a banner, a lot of store features would really help this person out as well. Their feedback is good, which means that they're a good seller, right? Lots of really good selling. It's just in the numbers now, friends, and kind of just upping it a little bit. So I looked at one of their items. Oh, I did not. Let me look at an item. Oh, well, I don't know anything about. Well, we'll look at this. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, they are not a top-rated seller. That automatically is giving you less exposure. eBay has said that if you are a top-rated seller, that they will give you more exposure. They don't lie about that. They're not making you guess how to get more. Sorry, my pen dropped. They're not making you guess how to get more impressions, how to get in front of more people, they have said that you will get more exposure if you're a top rated. So do whatever you need to do, become top rated seller. Once you are a top rated seller, you can then become top rated seller plus, which gives you a discount on fees and all of that. I will link videos down below, but this is about buyer behavior. If someone sees this item and another item, and this other item has money back guaranteed returns, they're going to buy this other item. This person does not even accept returns at all. And if you look at clothing, you can see most people, not only is it a filter, you're now, unless you are the only person out there, you are dwindling down your competition. You want to be better than your competition, or at least on par. So I would definitely add free returns. If it doesn't fit into your business plan, I'd figure out how to make it work into your business plan. It's hard when you are such a small store. I get it, but then this goes into as well your average sale price. If you can't increase your sell-through, so selling more items, you're going to get more people buying your items. If you can add all these features and you can have more impressions, you're going to work on increasing and getting better average sale price items. I would absolutely definitely work on that if you cannot fit in some of these things into your business plan. Shipping seems fairly reasonable. This would probably fit into like a padded flat rate. Positive feedback is good. Buy it now. Again, they don't have offers on. Whether you accept the offer or not, having the offer on is going to show you in more places. What's interesting is they don't have offers on, even though they do auctions. So they're willing to take a little bit of a smaller price. They do promoted listings, which is great, but let me tell you, promoted listings should be the last stop. You should have everything on point. So then so what promoted listings does is put you in front of up to over 130 places on eBay. It puts your item in more places. It gets more impressions. But if everything else is not up to par, you're paying for promoted listings for people not to click on your item, right? And so I would be making sure that your listing is better than everybody else's before you promote it. What promoted listings is doing is coming down here and it's putting your item in a similar type search. So someone is looking at this item, your item would show up here. And this is what your competition is going to be. And if I were this person, I would say, hey, this is $65. I have this one down here. Yes, it's pre-owned, but it's a little bit cheaper. They don't have good feedback, so maybe I'm not going to do that one. This one's only 99 cents. Maybe I'm going to take my shot at that one. This is your competition. You need to be better than your competition. Again, more relatable searches. We're going to look at their description. So you want to write your description like there's no photos. You want to take your photos like there's no description. You can probably get a few more item specifics here. Don't fill in item specifics purely to fill in item specifics like we talked about earlier, but fill in as many relevant item specifics as possible. It starts with impressions, friends. You have to come up where people find you before they can even click on it, before they can even buy it. The description, it's not a lot, but honestly, most buyers are buying through the mobile app. And now they've even limited the description to where you have to click an additional button to get to the description. And y'all, the more clicks you have, the less likely you are to convert the buyer. So definitely make sure to, they do have, it says visit store here. So I do think they have a store. Maybe they've changed it since then, but whether or not they have a store, absolutely get a store and then use all of the features. eBay is telling you to use the features. It's providing the features for a reason. Okay, so now that we've looked at it, some of the recommendations that I would make, all of the things that I talked about during this video, but like I said, it is a numbers game, and I would work on, you're gonna get an increase in sell-through if you do, that's the wrong one. You're gonna get an increase in sell-through if you add in the tips that I tell you, the increasing some of those store things, increasing your followers, adding best offers, getting top rated status, right? You will increase your sell-through rate. So let's say you get your sell-through rate to $20 and then you want to increase you were at $12. You want to increase your average sale price to $12. Things that you can do to increase your $12 to $16, and now you're almost going to hit your goal in 6 months if you can just increase those listings. Use Terapeak. If you guys don't know what Terapeak is, I will link a video down below. Go in there and research and find ways to be able to increase your average sale price. What items are selling for you, or what items and categories can you learn that are going to have a higher average sale price? I'm going to tell you, at a $12 average sale price, you have lots of room to grow, and eBay has tools to be able to help you do that. The one other thing that I'm going to say to do is pull a listing quality report. I will link that down below as well, because it is going to allow you to make sure that your items are the best that they can be. It compares you to the top 5% of sellers in your categories to help you make your listings the best that they can be. If you guys like this video, YouTube also thinks you'd like this video. I will link a playlist down here of how to make money reselling, and then make sure to hit that subscribe button to see if I review your store or for following videos coming out.